YouTube one.
That tracks.
Which I should probably, I don't know if it actually does it, the YouTube one. It doesn't. We're live.
Good morning.
What's up, everyone? I'm hosting today.
Yeah.
The hostess.
With the mostest?
God, it's so... Let me go turn my air conditioner on. What a way to start a show.
Yeah, start it and then leave. Look at Steve. Start and leave. Steve. Damn it. That's where it comes from. What is up, everyone? We are live. I'm just double checking over on the 40 watt channel to make sure it is also live. I'm pretty sure it is.
I'm only turning it down like 2 degrees, just enough to turn on. I need, like, it's not even that it's hot.
Yeah.
It's that it's humid.
It's not the heat, it's the humidity.
No, legitimately, like, we just had a tropical storm from Mexico break up yesterday, like roll in and break up. And so I don't know what the humidity is inside my house right now, but it is intolerable. And I don't open the window in this office overnight because it has all my stuff in it.
Yeah, don't do that. That's weird. Don't do it.
If you're gonna break into my house, never mind. My house is pretty locked up. Actually, if there was a fire inside of my house,
you'd be in trouble.
Legit risk because
Steve lives at 555 55th.
Yeah. What's going on? We got Mark is in a family team meeting, so he's coming back. He wants us to talk about Fender Studio.
You have family team meetings?
Wow. May was good for Fuzz Imp.
Oh, good. I'm glad it was. Glad it was, Justice.
Jacob McDougal in the house.
Maybe he'll get ahead and he can send me that Machina.
Acadian Flat Picker. Yeah, Fuzz Imp, Justice has been giving me stock tips. Give me one stock tip. It has been doing very well for me.
Has it really?
Dutch Brothers.
What?
Yeah, Dutch Brothers is
potato chip company.
The coffee company.
Oh,
you might not have Dutch Brothers out where you are.
It's Old Dutch that's potato chips.
Dutch Brothers is in Grants Pass, Oregon based coffee company. They're like a Starbucks competitor, basically. But all of their drinks are full of sugar. That's what they're known for.
They're up 20% in the last month. Anyway, we're not a stock show, but
they have 1,000 locations. Yeah, this is not stock advice because I've been running options on this, and every single time I've been sitting on it, and been like, "Oh God, I'm negative 100% right." I'm maybe not 100. Yeah, I'm like negative 50% right now, and then the next day it goes up 100%. So I'm like, I gotta get out. Gotta get out while it's in the green.
David Perry joining us from Rancho Cucamonga, California.
That's not too. It's an hour from here, I think.
Yeah.
Is this the Surfboard Guitar Channel?
Yes, but we're kind of like the stepchildren of Ryan at this point.
Yeah, I am currently on Earth. I'm not in space where Ryan is forming a guitar out of a surfboard.
And I have never been in space unaided by chemicals. So
yikes. Yeah, you're in the right place. You're just here at the wrong time.
That's exactly right.
That's the way to put it. Who else? Acyprium is here. Well, so I launched this at midnight last night.
I know.
Like 1 a.m.
Yeah, because it was 3 a.m. my time, and I was still awake.
Yeah. Why? I don't know.
Because I had not slept yet. So.
Oh, good morning, Amanda.
Good morning, Amanda.
So this is the cup I was talking about on Threads. This is my Just Camping mug.
Nice. Did you get one mug when they meant for it to be a different one though?
No. That's oh God. I was like, that took me a second. Oh hey, what's up, boy? No, this is the mug I ordered. I've had this for a few years. I dropped it once, so there's a chip. Where's the chip at?
I'm drinking out of my good old fashioned
right there
Gibson Garage mug, which might be the most affordable thing at the Gibson Garage.
Oh, it definitely is. It definitely is. Did I get that t-shirt at the Spam Museum? I didn't. I got this at Costco. which means there's probably about 10 million other people actually who have this exact same shirt. I got it because it's a super soft t-shirt and I like it.
I feel like I'm like really close to the camera.
I gotta go grab a new thing that I just got.
Go for it. Rob F. Yes, the mug is actually a little heavy. It's a big mug. It holds. I actually know this. It will hold. If you go to the brim, which I do not recommend, it goes to 16 ounces.
Where's the Gibson garage from?
Nashville.
You get it from Nashville?
Nashville, Tennessee, where I'm going to be in a couple of weeks.
I guess we're just going to jump into it. You got anything new, man? I got a lot of new things. I'm not going to save them for Tuesday.
Oh, awesome. I'll talk about a couple of things. I've sold a bunch of stuff, which I know is weird for me. I am actively trying to downsize the collection without like taking a complete and utter wash. You know what I mean? Because market selling right now is not the best time. But I sold my Helix, I sold my FRFR, and I sold a bunch of pedals. And I bought an Axe-FX.
An Axe-FX, really?
Like a rack unit, the Axe-FX 3.
Why?
Because so I watched this video from Paul Drew, Studio Rats, who I had on the podcast a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
He did an episode on the Hook amp, which is it's a tube amp, but has digital encoders for all the knobs, so you can digitally save all your settings, just like the Automaton series. The Hook Wizard. Hook Wizard is the name of it.
I'm looking at it.
And so he sent me a link for one because I had talked to him about how much I liked his video on that amp in particular. And yep, there you go. That's the new version too. That's the Wizard 2. I have the V1, which it's only tweaked a little bit. Like there's no fundamental differences. It's got a digital reverb, but everything else is analog. And I really liked it. So he ended up sending me a link like a month ago, 2 months ago, for one selling cheap in the US. And so I snagged it. And I'm using the Axe-FX to do all of the effects into the hook. So it's a fully MIDI, fully programmable, silent solution. Because the Hook Wizard has IR loader. It has a load box. It'll do, XLR out, all those things. And the XLR out sounds better than my Captor X. So,
yeah, I'm so glad, somebody revived the Fender Cyber Twin idea from 20 years ago.
Yeah, but that was a fully digital amp. This is an analog amp with digital controls.
I'm just the motorized knob. So do you have it?
Yeah, I have it.
You have it there.
Yeah, it's right up here.
How's the knob feel? Because I know that was an issue with the Cybers.
So when you go to turn it, you definitely don't get as free a movement as on a typical amp. But it feels very, very smooth. It's not like it doesn't feel gritty or anything like that, which I think was a Cyber Twin issue. It's pretty smooth. When you turn it, you can definitely feel there's like tiny, tiny micro notches where it's settling in.
Yeah.
But it's very fine. So I've been really happy with it. It's 2-channel. It's got 2 voicings per channel. On the clean channel, it has a Fender voicing and it has a Vox voicing. On the dirty channel, it's got a vintage Marshall voice and a modern Marshall voice.
Okay, cool. And can you also change those? Or are you only loading?
No, you
can only load IRs.
No, you can change all of that.
You can change all of it
with the MIDI switching. So it's all saved into a preset. It's got 32 onboard presets.
Gotcha.
That you can save. Yeah, it's really good. And so it's got 3 volumes, right?
Only 32, huh?
Yeah, only 32. So it's got technically 3 volume knobs because it's got a gain knob, a volume, and then a master volume. And the only one that's not digitally controlled is the final master volume. So the idea is you level match all of your presets, and then you can use the final master depending on your situation where you're live, just turning all of them up or down equally. It's really, really smart. It's a Dutch amp, I think. I think I saw Paul Davids has a video on the same amp, and apparently the guy who builds them was his guitar instructor in music school.
Oh, okay. They are in the Netherlands. Yes. Well, Paul Davids also just did that. Is it De Cecilia?
Yeah, I saw that video.
Which is I realized that I totally misread. Yeah, it's Decilia. I totally misread what this was when this first was making the rounds on the internet like 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Because just to show folks what I'm talking about, it's this amplifier, the single 25 by Decilia. And it says the single 25 is a single-ended amplifier using a KT150 tube, a first in the world of electric guitar amplifiers. And the way I read this was the single 25 is a single-ended amplifier, a first in the world of electric guitar amplifiers
Man, you're
using the
only like
KT150.
85 years late.
So yeah, so I was like very confused. I was like, are they saying this is the first 25 watt single-ended amplifier? But I'm like, I don't think that's true because the AC30, I think technically is a
It's
single-ended
it's it's
amplifier.
actually not. They like to
The
call it a
the
single-ended.
AC30 isn't.
It's a
Okay,
class A, but it is not single-ended. In order to be
gotcha.
single-ended, you must only use one power tube.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't
Yeah,
realize
you
that was
can't
a rule.
to the
I
best of my knowledge, I'm not an electrical engineer, but yeah, you can if you have more than one power tube, you can be class A, but you can't be single-ended.
gotcha. Gotcha. Um, so the thing is, what's the first is using a KT150, which
Yeah.
is normally a hi-fi um tube, which kind of we're in this whole cycle. And when I saw this one, I mean, if Paul Davids did a demo, I didn't watch it, it probably sounds great, but that's because like Paul, I'm pretty sure if Paul threw a mic up on his shits, those would sound great too.
Yeah, agreed,
uh
exactly. He's in that
but
boat.
but my thought is they're using a hi-fi tube, and this kind of goes back to this, like back in the day, like what is the magic of the sauce? Like, is it tube preamp? Is it tube power amp? Is it just the circuit itself?
I think
You
it's
know,
some of
we
everything.
had a stretch for a while where the recommended configuration was like, oh, you own a Hot Rod DeVille and you hate how loud it is, and da 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 da. Well, buy a Pod XT and run it through the effects loop, and now you have the best of digital at that time,
Yeah.
and you're running it through a tube amp, so it's gonna sound even more awesome than whatever,
I
Um,
I think I think it's a sum of everything, and I realize that that's a whole lot of if everything's important, nothing's important mentality.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but the thing about that changes, and I'm not an electrical engineer, so I can't go breaking it down like circuit wise what happens. Class A and single A have a single ended have like a reputation for like the response. The first of
Mhm.
all, how quickly to gain they get to. But I guess if you're upping the wattage, it's going to take longer. My
Right,
issue with
right.
this amp, I'm going to be really honest. It's a good thing it only uses one tube because have you ever seen how much a KT150 costs?
I imagine it's pretty expensive.
A Tungsole KT150 modern production that's capable of dissipating 70 watts, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, $135 is the cheapest
Yeah.
for a Tungsole. Yeah, for one tube.
It's almost cheaper to just buy. No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's a
Uh, is
3,100 euro amp.
Yeah, 3560 US.
Yeah,
Um, no, I don't know. I do want to go back to the chat for a second.
go for it.
Hello, I'm going to call this Mouse Pro
Oh
from
yeah.
Germany. Good evening. What time is it in Germany? It's probably around 7, I want to guess.
It
7
would
p.m.,
be
6 p.m., 7 p.m.
5 for UK. So
Yeah, they're at least one time zone further. So I think I want to say 6. Smart Mammal, hello to you and your wife who's blasting gorillas while making her breakfast. Uh, which in a context with where we don't know who the musical act gorillas are, this is definitely on the wrong channel. So let's see, 70 watts in one tube. It's not 70 watts. It's
No, the amp itself is designed for
25
25,
watts.
but the tube can handle up to 70.
Oh, gotcha. So we should expect a 70-watt version in
God,
the
I hope
future.
not. That thing would get so hot. So much heat. I love that going back to it's Smart Mammal who says that wife is blasting gorillas while making her breakfast.
Yeah.
I love the synergy of the username, but also,
I thought about that too.
The importance of spelling. If that's gorilla spelled any other way, it gets dark quick.
Yeah. At least it only gets dark. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got a couple new things this week. The first one, I got one of these. I don't know if you saw these go up. It's kind of a joke pedal, but it's not. It's very serious.
Okay.
Which is this. I don't know if you saw these. I
probably
cannot get it to focus because I don't autofocus. I should.
Yeah.
I don't. It's simultaneously because I don't move. I have autofocus turned off, but maybe I should turn it on. But this is a Keeley X Bees Music Fuzzballer. It's the Keeley Fuzz Bender. It's the cat version, and I believe there are only 10 of these.
Oh, really?
I have one of them. Brian at Bees Music has one of them. It's pretty cool. I think this is my first Bender style fuzz. I think that I have.
Oh, it's my favorite
that I know of. So it does the Velcro rippy thing. It's got a bias knob for extra Velcro.
Do you ever have one of the Tone Mob Model 001 fuzzes?
No.
Okay, those are tone benders.
No. But I do have two Pelletars, which is like, I forget what that circuit is. It's like a muff on one side, and it's
I can't remember on the other
ones into.
You want to trade me a Pelletar?
For what?
I don't know. I just don't have a Pelletar.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I have a teal Pelletar that I could send. I can't send the other one because it's serial number Steve.
Oh yeah, you can't move that one.
But I actually got both, so I could have one normal one and one germanium one. But even my germanium one is weird because it's germanium with spare parts.
Oh, gotcha.
Spare parts germanium. So
I've had both of the Tone Mob circuits too, the germanium and the silicon.
So it's actually, you talked about this on your episode this week a little bit with Zach. How people always talk about this whole thing with, why is that pedal $150? Like, I can get the enclosure for $6 and I can get the rest of the parts for another $25 or whatever. Because as Zach very much rightly pointed out, the enclosure is the most expensive part of your pedal. Depending on where you're sourcing, I could probably argue that like the PCB might be more expensive.
So because I have some insight into that, because I talk to a lot of pedal builders, and you do too, but I've really specifically been talking about PCB price. PCB is not even close to what the enclosure costs.
I'm saying like if you're buying one part, if you're buying it all as one part,
if you're buying one, sure. But if you're buying a sheet,
exactly, yeah. If they're buying 100 PCBs or 1,000 PCBs or whatever, I'm sure it's like one or like probably $2 or $3.
Yeah, like I have one pedal builder that told me their most expensive PCB is more than the enclosure, but it's the only one that is that price because it's it uses bucket brigades, so it's expensive. And so the PCB is like $19 for that pedal, like even at bulk.
Good Lord, that happened fast.
What?
I'm looking at pedal PCB, which I still like. I always have mixed feelings about pedal PCB, though one day I will probably start buying things from them.
I've played a couple of their circuits. I've never built one.
I'm sure they're fine. They're doing the same thing that Mad Bean used to do. Mad Bean probably still does. I just haven't been over there in forever. Wow, why does this website look so? Is Mad Bean gone? No,
Mad Bean's gone.
I don't think it's gone.
I don't think it's Mad Bean Pedals.
MadBeanPedals.com is still up.
Okay.
I don't know if I can still order anything.
Yeah, it doesn't. Well, shop.
I mean,
Yeah.
stuff is coming up. It's just a website that hasn't been updated for modern browser.
Gotcha.
Anyway, sorry. Oh, Ian says build your own clone is gone.
Yeah, that's gone for sure. Because I know that Rick Matthews from Matthews Effects used to work there and do some work for them, and we've talked about that being gone.
General Guitar Gadgets looks like it's still in business. They're another one that would send you a PCB.
So,
You could
so
buy a
what was your
PCB.
that was fast?
Oh, sorry. Pedalpcb.com already has what they call they're calling it the Fumble Boost on their coming
Yes,
soon.
they are. I see
Which
it.
is the
BBC
One side of the JHS Not a Dumble. Which I'm just like, yeah, that's really wild.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm just looking at there, and it's like the PCB ranges are like $8 to $18. So that's or there's maybe some cheaper ones, but most of them are in the $8 to $18 range is what I'm seeing. Which is only, what is their actual highest price? Sort
I don't
high.
know.
They have a pedal called the Low Tide Mini
Okay.
circuit, which is apparently a Fairfield circuitry shallow water, whatever the hell that is. K-field modulator. Well, those are words.
I'm looking for all of their. Where are you looking for to see all of their PCBs?
I just clicked on here. Let me just.
Yeah, because I don't want to see all the parts. I just want to see the PCBs.
So I just went from the main page. I clicked most popular, view all.
Okay.
And then sorted high to low. So you got a $30 one and a Boss VB2 PCB, $25. Another Fairfield one that's $25. But what exactly is this? Coarse vibrato pitch. So the shallow water is a whole bunch of modulators all at once.
Okay, that makes sense.
Basically.
I had and I bought it already put together, but I had an Electro Vibe, and that's a cool pedal. It's their Univibe.
Oh, okay.
And so it's actually got it's got 2 speed controls, and it's got foot switchable between them. So you can have 2 different Univibe speeds set and switch between them. It's really, really cool.
I forgot to change the background before we started. It's going to bother me the entire time.
Yeah, so I'm not going to try to say this name, Wild, but says, I built 5 pedals from Pedal PCB. I ordered parts from Tata Electronic a few years ago. My cost would end up about $50 a pedal. Yeah, so, but you're also, take into account you're literally buying retail and not wholesale.
Yeah.
So your price is more. What I'm ultimately saying is that yes, some pedals, especially already established circuits, that they're just copying. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You can probably get your parts down to $30-$40, like at most, right?
And I don't really have an issue with Pedal PCB directly. It's more there's a company called Minimal. I hate that. I think it's called Minimal Pedals. I don't know if they're still around. Probably are. Yep, they're on Instagram called Minimal Pedal, and it's one guy having fun making pedal, handmade one by one, and they're all. We've talked about the. I know we've actually talked about them before, and again, I kind of hate giving them any press, but they're all these kinds of things, and this is the Minimal Pedal Model K gold with ox blood knobs, and unless something's changed, there's no gut shot. Here's a gut shot. This is a pedalpcb.com PCB. Now this is from 39 weeks ago, so maybe they're not around anymore.
Yeah.
Followed by 40 Watt Podcast.
Yeah, I follow.
But so they're really clean. They're probably very well built, but I just kind of like bristle at the idea that you kind of and kind of torn on this because I've had this thought bouncing around in my head thinking about some of this. Where do you draw the line between you are a hobbyist making pedals in your garage versus you are a company making pedals in your garage?
I think, well, there's a couple of lines of thinking here. So it diverges really fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once you start, and y'all come at me if you don't agree, that's fine. I think once you start tweaking those circuits and they're not the original, because in the grandest of guitar pedals, before you get into like the Strymons and the Chase Bliss and the Maris of the world, right?
Yeah.
Before you get to those, but of the regular old analog and even some digital circuits, we're talking pretty low bar electronics, right? Like
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
really simple
Yeah.
electronics. But
I mean,
once you
don't tell
start
me that because I have a ring mod and a tremolo on the shelf behind me that I tried to build like a decade ago, and
and
neither
they
of
don't
them
work.
work correctly, and I haven't had the chance to,
Yeah.
to try to
Well,
troubleshoot them.
I've done a couple of builds and I've breadboarded some stuff, and
Yeah.
it's low bar electronics. If I can do it, anybody can do it. But if you're just copying a circuit, I don't care if you put it in a brand new branded case.
Mm-hmm.
You're a hobbyist who's cashing in on other people's hard work.
Yeah, that's kind of, and I think maybe where I would even draw something that's changed in the last like 20 years, and I'm sure some folks do it one way or another. I would almost say if you are buying your own PCBs, if you, in so, and I'm sure there's a lot of nuance
Yeah.
on this. I Michael Krause say, is it volume of sales? Is it years in business? Ian Johnson, once you keep a stock of built pedals or take orders from people, not friends and family. But I don't know. This live stream is a low bar. I don't know. This is where I think this is where I'm at. 95% of pedals are either clones or itty bitty mods of clones.
Yes.
I think that like whatever that line is between clones and mods of clones, that's a big part of, in my mind, like, are you a real brand or are you a guy just building things in your garage? I think the problem that I have with something like minimal pedals is now
they're unmodded.
Is they're just the populated pedal PCB.
Yeah.
I actually vaguely recall pedal PCB, I think, used to have a thing on their site that said something about like, if you want to buy these for commercial use, please contact us or whatever.
Yep.
Because the idea was that these were things for people to build. And I don't have a problem with people saying like, oh, I bought pedal PCB because I want to just build this stuff for myself. I don't want to pay, $200 or whatever for whatever pedal. I'm just going to build it in my spare time and I'll, eat my own labor costs. But I don't have a problem with that. It's more when it turns into a commercial venture. But at the same time, I've had this idea floating around in my head about, I feel like there's a thing that's missing where where kind of this old internet mindset of, I say old internet, like, again, maybe 15, 20 years ago. I'm sure places like DIY stomp boxes and whatnot probably still have a lot of this going where, if you want to get a really unique tube screamer, you can probably go on DIY stomp boxes and find, fledgling garage brands.
Oh, sure.
Not garage bands, but garage brands who will build you the coolest tube screamer ever. I'm going to go grab something actually to kind of illustrate this point. I'm going to go grab something off my shelf real quick.
I'll mention while he's grabbing something off his shelf. I don't have a problem with like pedal PCB and building stuff, but I just don't know that you're being original if all you're doing is building those.
I think I got this pedal in I don't know, 2004, maybe 2000 something, somewhere back then. I can probably figure it out. But this is called the Lil Eagle. It's from a short-lived company called SBN Pedals. I almost feel like if you need a logo to be a
Well,
company.
yeah.
I wish I had a screwdriver in here so I could pop this open because I don't remember. I think this is the guy who made these was getting his own PCBs made, but some of the pedals that he was selling were actually done on either Vero or Stripboard. Which again, I think is, even if it's a part, there used to be these websites. I don't remember for guitar. Actually, DIY FX pedals, I think, has some of them. Sabrotone is one of the sites. I'm looking at some of the freestompboxes.org. There's a page called Guitar Tagboard Effects. That's the one I'm trying to remember. Which apparently stopped posting in 2023. And there's stripboard builds. And I kind of feel like if you are doing stripboard builds, like that's more legitimate. That's closer to being a real company than just buying pedal PCB.
I agree.
Which again it's a very arbitrary. I recognize that it's very arbitrary. But the reason I pulled this out, and I have this, I actually have a few pedals from this builder. Pedal PCB. Pedal PCP would be a crazy sounding pedal. I got this pedal because I had a Visual Sound Jekyll and Hyde that I just like. I only used this. So this is a tube screamer.
Yeah.
That's why it's green. And the Jekyll side of the Jekyll and Hyde is a tube screamer, but it's got like an EQ knob on it. I forget what it does exactly, but it's got a little extra EQ, so it's got tone. That company is now called True Tone.
Oh yeah, they are.
Jekyll and Hyde version 3. Drive volume tone. Oh, that's that. Yeah, drive volume tone, and I think bass is the other knob. Or maybe
I also hate the V3 enclosure.
Confusing.
Give me that big home plate enclosure.
I can't figure
day.
out what the hell this actually is. Let's see. Let's find. I had the red one. It had. I'm just trying to find a straight up picture. Drive, tone, volume, and bass boost. For whatever reason, I could not get that green side dialed in. I would run the drive at 0 and just actually use it as a boost.
Huh.
The EQ on the distortion side, I felt like I could never really get that dialed in right either. This pedal, my memory of this pedal when I got this is I plugged it in and every setting, like immediately, I just maybe not every setting, but like running at 12 o'clock was the exact tone that I wanted.
Oh wow.
Like right away. Like it took me 0 time to dial it in. And so again, really good build. The op amp is socketed, and Eric, the guy who was building these, sent me 2 or 3 other op amps. So I don't know what's in here right now, but I was actually using the Burr Brown op amp for that little extra headroom and cleanliness and a little less mid for a while. But the point being is brands like that kind of popped up on forums like the Gear page, and this was actually from one called christianguitar.org, which was like the premier praise and worship web forum, back in the early 2000s. And they're one of the places that got killed when I forget who it was, but BMI or some other ASCAP or whatever went after all the tab sites, and basically every tab site in the early 2000s had to remove all of the lyrics from their tabs.
Yep.
Except for Ultimate Guitar, who said, "Fuck you, we're Russian. We don't, we'll do whatever." Like basically they said, our servers are in Russia, we can do whatever we want. And
did not know that.
Really, yep. So when you go to Ultimate Guitar, you're supporting Soviet propaganda. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a hot take.
But all of this to say is I kind of miss that aspect of culture of the guitar culture. But yeah, when the internet evolved past MySpace. But at the same time, and I don't intend this to be like a negative. This isn't a neg
Yeah.
on any of these brands, but I again, let me grab a few things. This is show and tell, I guess. Oh, where's that other one at?
I'm not doing the Roger part. Look at him grabbing all the stuff. Let's all. What we have here is a wild Steve in his natural habitat. You see as he ponders his selection. Ooh, he has found his prey. Leaps in for the kill. Ah, the sweet, sweet smell of victory.
So I do see this kind of cropping back up in the community a little bit.
Yeah.
Where Olga, yeah, Olga is another one of them. But I think of brands. Where do I want to start? Well, because he's in the chat right now, I'll start. I think of brands like Fuzzimp.
Yeah.
And maybe to some extent, Summer School
Summer School.
Electronics. And I was pushing some of the David Ross stuff for a bit.
Yeah, I like David stuff.
And then coming out soon, so this is the original one. This is a Progress Pedals Dad 250 Plus that
I'm still waiting to get one of those.
And he's doing a run right now that's kind of in the production phases. And these are all companies that kind of, I mean, I'm using the term company here maybe a little bit loosely in some of these cases, because I don't know that Ryan would consider Progress Pedals a company compared to anyone else, any of these others. But,
sure.
But the idea behind these are people who are just part of the community who are doing a run of pedals, and I think that's a really fun thing to be a part of. And I think that's also part of where like maybe Minimal Pedals is participating in community somewhere else. I don't know. I don't know anything about them.
I think
besides being aesthetic,
I think Mark's a really good at Summer School's a really good reference to this. Mark got to start building pedal PCB pedals. He's told that story multiple times. That's how he started. He built some for himself. His friends saw him building them. I was like, oh, can you build me a such and such? And he built them for him. And then eventually he started tweaking circuits. And then he started figuring out, oh, how does this design work? How does this circuit work? And what would I do to change this? And eventually he starts making his own thing. And I think that's the progress. At some point, you're thinking about it not just as a clone, but what would I have done differently? And then you do something different. It's sort of like Bob Dylan. I heard him talk once about his songwriting process. And I mean, one of the most prolific songwriters of all time, right? He said he would just start playing a hymn or a traditional song,
right,
and then slowly start changing the lyrics until he had something completely different.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's at its core, that's what in my mind is part of probably why I don't think of people who would just, I'm going to slap a pedal PCB into a 125. Even though like there probably is, like, there's probably a lot of people who are like, yeah, I buy the pedal PCB board, but actually I don't follow their instruction set, line by line. I'm swapping this and swapping that and whatever. And somebody did point out, somebody pointed out in the chat that pedal PCB will make you PCBs with your branding on it if that's what you want.
Yeah.
Michael Kraus says Cosmodio only made one pedal for several months and no one said they weren't a real company. Now they have 3. Yeah, but they had badass graphic design. So
yeah. Well, you look at someone like Jesse over at Rude Tech. He had basically one pedal for a long time.
The fuzz
3 Muff 14. Yeah. 3 Muff 14.
3 Muff. Yeah. And sometimes that's where it's at. I don't know.
Yeah. Or you think about someone like the Noble preamp, not Nobles that makes the ODR1.
I'm more familiar with the Noble preamp than
the base preamp
with Nobles.
I think that's the only thing they make.
It is Noble Amplifier company, and their wait list is what, 18 months?
Yeah,
now?
it's really
something
long so
stupid
that
like
it
that.
become expensive. So I've thought about building the PCB version. The
Yeah.
pedal PCB doesn't have it, but conspiracy to commit electronics
Mm,
does.
yeah, I've seen it. I mean, I've met Jack. Jack's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Um, there's a whole yeah. Um, is there a bonsai? Cynthia, is there a bonsai or pack rat equivalent for muffs?
Yeah,
Yes,
the
it's the
muffaletta.
muffaletta. Proco only makes one pedal. Well,
They tried to make a couple of others.
Proco makes like 5 pedals, but they're all the same pedal.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem.
And they just did we talk about I think people wanted us to talk about Ryan and I to talk about this. Speaking of only making one pedal, what's your take on you know about the Sterling Vermin?
No, what is this?
This is so Act Entertainment is the company that owns whatever.
I'm looking at the article now. We'll find it. Keep going.
They own Proco. So now they're
Okay.
saying the Sterling Vermin was born from a desire for something different, something refined, with the soul of a traditional rat pedal, but with a voice all its own. Blah, 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 blah. They're made in Jackson, Missouri headquarters, which is where ACT or ACT is headquartered. But people are already pointing out, like, well, if it's not being made in the Proco facility, then what the hell? It features an LM741 op amp, pair of selectable clipping diodes, so you can switch between the traditional rat silicon diode or the BAT 41
It's
diode.
$350.
$350 CTS pots. So the whole thing, the whole idea here is that it's like a rat with a bunch of high-end parts in a polished stainless steel container. But the feedback that I've seen people make on it has kind of just been like, no, we just want a big box rat. Just bring back.
I can't get over the fact they want me to pay $350 for a rat.
Yeah. Yeah. How much is a rat 2 right now?
I can it's got to be like $70.
Log into see price.
It
So this is a whole thing actually, and I can't even see the price on here because you have to log in, and I'm not going to create like if I have to.
Proco Rat 2 on Sweetwater, although they're back ordered, is $68.88.
Yeah. So the Sterling Vermin is such a weird, I don't know. And of course, they wrote a press release, which got them into Premier Guitar, which goes back to RJ's theory that the reason 60 Cycle Hum is never in Premier Guitar is because
you don't do
we don't write press releases.
100%. Dude, ChatGPT will write your press release for you.
Oh my gosh.
Cue all the AI haters. I get it. So I own one rat pedal, exactly one.
Which one?
I own the Mooski, like,
oh, okay,
super rat. It's like 3 different rat circuits in one. It cost me $15 used in a Guitar Center, and you know what? It sounds like a rat. Actually sounds like 3 rats. It's really good.
Regarding the muffaletta, it looks so old. Josh looks like a baby.
Yeah,
we've made a video for it. Yeah, bad guitars. There was like zero marketing for this pedal. Yeah, there was zero marketing because the company that owns Proco is one of these companies that is just and Proco itself like kind of is so mom and pop in a way that it's kind of like what are you like? What do you want to be?
Yeah.
Who do you think you are? But ACT itself is one of these companies that like they have a bunch of brands. They are ultimately, I think, way more focused on being a cable company and a live sound company. And when buying Proco, they just also got the rat. But they own Ultimate Support, like the speaker stand company.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and they own Rapco Horizon, which is a cable company, and they own Lava Cable, which is another cable company. They own Avid, which is interesting.
Oh, really? Proco owns Avid?
Avid, yeah, the live sound company.
Weird.
Rat Distortion is actually kind of its own brand now. They're not, even though we still call them, and it still has the Proco labeling. It's actually been treated as its own. It's almost like, I feel like there's a pedal equivalent to it. Another company that did this, but I don't remember who. I might just be thinking of beer. Yeah, the Rat Conversation, someone who just taught Song 2 by Blur.
So I'm still stuck on this because I pulled up the page for the Noble preamp.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
an 11-month wait list. 11 months, 48 weeks. But you could skip to the front of the line for $940 extra.
Vildajuga Act is out of Missouri. Yeah, Proco is like the outsider art. Some of their rat derivatives are so bad.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Ryan put it out to me that I should start selling off pedals to buy a vintage rat, and then I priced a vintage rat.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if I want to commit.
Why would you get a vintage rat?
$800 to
Why would you do that when you have a woodcutter, though? Because a woodcutter is great.
I have 2 woodcutters now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You do. And I don't have one anymore.
Oh, did you sell that one recently?
I sold it, I don't know, 6 months ago.
I've been selling things on Reverb. I sold what did I sell? I sold my Tim V3.
Yeah.
That one was sad because I lost $100 on it.
Oof. Yeah, I'm glad I got rid of mine when I did. I feel like the Paul Cochran, Tim hype is down, way down.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. The Timmy's still a great pedal, which is why I don't feel that bad about selling the Tim. Because the boost side of the Tim, I just wasn't doing much for me. The most surprising thing that I got to sell, so I sold that. I sold something else for more money. Oh, I sold the UA Golden. We talked about that offline a little bit. I sold the MXR Super Badass Distortion that I just got because it's I don't really need distortion pedals. Let's be honest.
If you got a rat, you're fine.
I have like 5 rats.
There you go.
I have 2 woodcutters. I have the Drat. I've got what other woodcutter? What other rats do I have? I have the Pep Rally Science, whatever. That's got a science fair. It's got a rat side.
That's right. I do have a couple that I didn't even think about those. I have a couple of the summer school electronics with the rat inside of them. Because I have the Steve's away. But I have the
I've got this crusty ass piece of shit.
Man, I've owned at least 3 of those and gotten rid of them every time.
This is an old, like, this one's been back to Proco for repairs.
Wow.
That's how old it is.
I've repaired a couple of them in the past.
It's serial number 59880. I don't know where that fits in everything. But it's an LM308 Rat 2 glow in the dark. If it doesn't glow in the dark, do they all glow in the dark? I don't know.
I think everyone I've had of the modern ones do.
Yeah.
But the ones that like don't have LEDs, don't. They don't.
Yeah. So, but the idea is to like, so there was a big box reissue in the 90s that you can get for like $300 still. Yep. But the idea of getting like a vintage big, like an 80s big box, again, those are like $800.
Ooh, here's a early 90s reissue big box rat for $190.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the 90s reissues, you can get pretty cheap. I feel like I've got another rat, but oh, I got a 1981. Obviously, I got a DRV.
Oh,
which is radish. I like to think of that one as more, it's like built on the rat, because I don't think of that pedal as being as ratty as other rats that I own.
I'm trying to find a non-reissue big box rat. Where's a vintage one?
On Reverb, you just have to sort them from high to low.
Yeah, but I want like the cheapest one available.
Yeah.
Big box rat.
Oh, I think the easiest way to do it is to search for rat and then go to your filtering options and
here we go.
Filter to decade.
Here's a V1 from 79 to 80. Balls. Oh, here's an 81. That's technically a V2, wouldn't it be? Anyway, here's the cheapest 78 to 81 is a 1971 in Yokohama, Japan for $1,815.
Yeah,
And that's the cheapest
that's
by
ridiculous.
far.
Um,
There's an 81 Proco, which I think is V2, but don't quote me. It's in Australia for $712.
yeah, I'm seeing some V2s around that 712. Seeing some other V2s around 800. That's all I'm looking at. Like it's probably going to be like 800, and I don't even know what is it the logo? Oh, it's the fringe logo versus the tail logo. That's the difference.
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, there might be other differences. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cynthia says UA pedals, though they're top tier quality, I still feel like you're getting premium basic meal compared to the weirdness you get from Chasers. The UA pedals are really interesting. I think what podcast was what was I listening to the other day? Some video that RJ sent, maybe our group chat.
It might have been because we definitely talked about that. So I'm gonna while you're thinking that, I'm just gonna make a comment here. I don't feel like Chase Bliss and UA are chasing the same audience.
Oh, they're definitely not.
They're not. Chase Bliss is going after like the more experimental music maker in a lot of ways. UA is trying to give you classic sounds in a box.
Yeah.
And Chase Bliss doesn't care about, I'm not saying they don't care, but their goal is not to give you classic sounds. Their goal is to push the envelope.
Right.
So, Mr. Anderson, yeah, so both the V1, the V2, and I think the 90s reissues all have the LM308. So it's not just about that, it's about rarity too. Those early ones with the rat tail, the originals, the people care an awful lot about a little extra ink in the powder coat.
It was that chairman of the board video about why do people chase hype, and then I felt like it didn't go anywhere, but it did kind of seem like they might have been throwing shade at UA because the reputation with the UA single effect pedals that they've been doing, like the golden, or even the original was like the golden and the starlight, and I forget what else, and then
the Astra.
Was it this year or was it last year, was when they did the Max?
Yeah, they did the Max, they did the Galaxy, and they did
that was last year, right?
I think it was, I might have been the year before that, Steve.
I know I went to the party. That's all I remember.
They did the Galaxy, they did the Max. There's one more. What else did they do?
The Delverb. And then the Delverb. I have a Delverb shirt that I got a stain on, and so it's sitting in the bottom of a drawer somewhere. But and then this year, like, it just seems like they're throwing amp models into pedals and then launching them. And the thing I keep hearing is that their hype is very short-lived, which is kind of interesting with that, and some people say it's indicative that they're not really thinking about like the long term with their branding with these pedals. They're just kind of like launching them, and whatever happens.
I could sort of see that.
So I don't really know.
I picked up a Max recently. I just haven't had a chance to plug it in. I got RJ's actually.
Yeah.
So
he traded that for the DM101, right?
Sure did.
Yeah.
That, and he traded me the Walrus Slotva.
Right.
And I haven't plugged either one of them in yet. I haven't had time.
So I've been buying and selling things on Reverb, or buying and selling at some point in the future. So I've got the 1981 it's not V2, it's 1981 DRV number 2. That's what it's called. Which is like because it's just the finish, it's a finish variation. There is sort of a DRV V2 that exists.
Okay.
And I don't know when it's going to get here, but I did buy one of the Germanium DeLorean 1981 DRVs. The
Mhm.
silver finish, not the gold finish, because it was like 100. It was 26% off. How do you pass up 26% off?
I
I don't.
feel like Matthew over at DRV is really good at the hype engine. Like that pedal. The fact that he has existed, I mean, he has an extra one now, but the fact that his entire company existed to put out cosmetic versions, like cosmetic changes to
Oh
that
yeah,
pedal,
yeah,
like wild, and it worked.
yeah. But I also got some other stuff because I ordered some things. I'm gonna pull this out. I got a bit of a care package with an order I made from Rocket Music.
Oh, nice.
So this is a combination order. I'm not going to save this for Tuesday, even though we're recording on Tuesday. But basically, what I needed.
Viled, I'm going to answer this while you're getting that out. The reason you buy a 1 amp sim is because they're that good. That I've got the Enigmatic and the Dream 65. I'm going to do a video on them here soon. They're really that good. And I don't want every amp most of the time. I want this sound. There's a market for folks that want to do that as well.
I've realized I'm making so much noise.
That's not that bad, actually.
But this, so what I ordered are these.
Oh yeah, nice.
A couple cables, because what I realized, and this is like in my head, it's so dumb, but I think a lot of folks will appreciate this. I've got two 20-foot cables, and they take up a lot of space.
Yeah, they do.
For all of my things being in this corner behind me, I literally need a cable that will go from the input of the rev amp that I'm pointing at down to the corner that is hidden by my shoulder, which is the end of my pedal chain.
Yeah.
Which is maybe about 3 feet. So 20-foot cable, massive overkill. And so what I have in here is, I think the purple cable is a 6-foot cable. Right. It's a right straight. And then there's the
black sparkle cable.
They're very pretty.
They are very pretty.
So it's purple Tech Flex wrap, and then the green Flex. So there's a green and black. And this one's a 12-footer, so it gives me a little bit of room, so I can like sit over here and plug in wherever. And the idea primarily with this one is I want to just plug this into the amp and leave it plugged in all the time. You're never gonna. And I tried to do that with the 20-foot, and it was just a friggin' rat's nest.
Yeah.
Speaking of rats, so the other things that were sent are a pair of these that were.
Love it.
Set giant knobs, but what these are, and Haley actually sent us these as well, which I wasn't expecting. These are cat dishes.
That's awesome.
So it's a knob cat dish combo. And then the other thing, because I think I posted a picture of them, and I won't use all of these, but I'll use a few of them, and then maybe I'll find some folks to send the rest to. She sent me a bunch of these 3D printed pedals.
Yes, I love those.
Right, but here's the thing: 3D printed pedal. That little backing right there.
Yeah,
that's to install tiny pedals on your Crocs.
Oh my gosh.
So I got a pair that are like my yard shoes, legitimately, like they just are for when I go in the yard.
I love that. I need some magnets. I need little pedal magnets.
Yeah. So
this is the only thing I have like that. I have the
pick toilet.
The pick toilet.
So I've got a couple other. I've got one other thing on order that's supposed to be here Monday, but I'm going to save that for recording on Tuesday.
Sure. Yeah, you got a lot of stuff to do.
What else? Oh, the wildest thing I sold on Reverb, real quick.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe this sold. This was a throw it at the wall and see what sticks. So I have sold. See, I sold the Tim. I sold the Golden. Those were the
Mhm.
two big. I sold the Super Badass, which I mentioned before. And then I sold I sold a Soundbrenner Pulse, which I can't believe it sold, but it sold. Do you remember the Soundburner Pulse? It's the wearable
The watch
metronome.
metronome, yeah.
Yeah,
I knew that sounded familiar.
Joe Branton was hyping them so hard for a while. We tried to work with them. They sent us a Pulse, and they sent us, I think, whatever the newer thing was at that time.
Uh-huh.
But the one that they sent Ryan was like, it wasn't even like, I wouldn't even call it B stock. It was scratch and dent.
Oh.
So he messaged him back, and I don't think he ever made a video for it. Maybe, I don't think he did, because they sent him like a scratch and dent thing, and it was, the experience was just very odd with them. But yeah, it's not even, I wasn't even a watch. It's just the pulse.
Yeah.
It doesn't even do time.
Yeah, that's all it does. It's a metronome.
So let's see. I got really hyped on buying a Brothers AM, but I'm too impatient to pre-order stuff and end up with a Mythos Herculean Deluxe.
Great pedal. Great pedal.
I used to leave a 50-foot coiled on a hose holder in the back of my JC120 with my 10x10. Yeah, I again, these 20-footers were fine when I was playing live, a decade ago. Even when I was playing in like on a small church stage, it was kind of nice to be able to at least, if I needed to go talk to the drummer about something, didn't have to take things off.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
ended up having to, because I was in the same boat. All of my cables were 20 or 25 feet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I ended up buying a 10-foot cable, because even when I was playing through the amp, it's like I can touch it. It's right here.
Yeah.
Like, it's right here. And now the Axe-Fx is right here. I can touch it. And so
Mm-hmm.
I don't need this room is only 11 by 11.
Yeah.
I don't need 20-foot cables. So yeah, that was a big one, getting that done. I love this question. Yeah, David Perry. Pedals you regret getting rid of. Steve, go.
I don't know if I have any, to be honest.
So I've already had this question on a recent podcast, and I don't. I have never sold a pedal and ended up truly regretting selling it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything that I've sold and then bought again.
I've done that, but I still don't regret selling it, because I didn't need it at the time. If it's something I can get again pretty easily, then yeah, I'm good. I'm trying to tell myself that.
I can't think of anything. Pedals I regret getting rid of. This is counterintuitive. I said this before. I still think I might be the only person on the planet who ever lost money on a KTR. Because I sold mine for like $220. I bought it new. I think I sold it for like $210, $220. The current lowest price on a KTR on Reverb is $470.
Really?
And that one's beat up.
Wow.
For excellent condition, which is probably what I would list mine in as excellent, is like $520, though I probably could have listed it for mint $574. But I lost money on mine because I'm an idiot.
That sucks.
So I was just, because there was this stretch where Humbucker Music would get a bunch of KTRs in. You could buy one and you could like kind of, their batch windows were like probably about 4 to 6 months apart.
Sure.
So you could buy, and I wanted to try it out, but I was like, yeah, if I don't really love it, then I'll just sell it, and make a little bit of money on it with it. Yeah, Richard F. Exactly. I bought high. I was buying high, selling low. But I think around the same time was J Rocket was doing the Archer, and Wampler was doing the Tumnus, and when all of those things were hitting the market for the first time, it actually kind of wrecked the the KTR market, and I was just being impatient.
Was that an early KTR? Did you have one of the early ones?
I mean, not that early.
Because if it was one of the early ones, J Rocket was making those.
Oh, it might have been during that era. I don't exactly remember. Or it might have
I
been
don't know
right
exactly
after.
when J Rocket stopped making the KTRs, but the early ones, the first ones, for however many, up to whatever that number is, they were the ones making them.
Yeah.
Next week, Steve loses money on a KOT.
Yeah. No, I don't have a King of Tone.
I do.
I only have a Brothers AM.
I sold my Brothers.
Brothers or the Brothers AM?
I sold my Brothers AM. I did the video on them, and then I gigged them both on the same pedal board so I could go back and forth between them.
Mm-hmm.
That lower mids thing that the KOT does that the Brothers doesn't do,
Mm-hmm.
I needed it.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah. So the King of Tone is still my favorite overdrive. I did really, really like the Brothers AM, but I didn't need it when I had the King of Tone and a treble booster already. Sorry, Andrew.
Basil Tiffany says y'all swap frame sides. Did we swap frame sides? I don't know.
Maybe from what we usually are. I don't know.
Is it because of hosting?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's all about hosting.
I don't know. I don't think. Can I switch these? Can I switch them back?
My problem right now is that I have so many pedals. Oh, look,
that's better.
That's okay. Yeah. Now you're right in front of me instead of off to the side. My problem is I have so many pedals from friends, selling pedals my friends made feels like betrayal.
I mean, that's a problem that I run into, and the other problem is that I do like the collectorable sort of thing. It's like I've got 13, I think, Caroline pedals. I've got 9 big ear pedals or whatever, and these are things where I'm like, we kind of built brand boards.
Yeah, see, that's fun, and I enjoy that. I am one of those. I know that my tick, so to speak, is that when I have something, I feel like I should have all of something. Like if I have one pedal by a company, there's an itch to have every pedal that company makes, and I have to quelch that really fast.
Well, it's a good thing you don't feel that way about Boss.
Oh, no, definitely not. I did think about at one point buying like every pedal like all the expensive ones, of course, like everything they made before a certain year. There was a time when I thought about collecting all of the 9 series Ibanez pedals. Luckily, my buddy Kyle, patron of the podcast, did that for me. So I could say, look, somebody did it. I don't have to do that.
Excuse me.
Do I have any Boss pedals right now?
Vil Jugga says I have 14 Boss pedals.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, do I own 1?
I own 3, I think. I have a DS1. I still have my old DD5, and I have a TU2.
I think I just
and I have a RC, one of the RCs. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah.
Boss.
I think I traded my last Boss pedal to RJ.
I think I have the RC2 looper.
I do have like 20 Mythos pedals though.
Yeah, this is pedal acquisition syndrome.
It's a problem.
Anyway, man, you've been playing out?
Man, I've been gigging a lot lately, actually. I had a gig this weekend. I had 2 gigs last weekend. I think I had 2 gigs the weekend before that. I'm just, so there's this band, cover band, party band, a lot of fun to play with. It does a mix of like country and a bunch of other stuff. They do that thing where they like medley like 15 songs into one kind of thing. And it's a lot of fun, and I've been doing that, and it's just a good way to get out and play and make some extra gear money, really is all that's happening. But it's wild as much as I've been playing lately. I like it. I'm down to taking 1 guitar though. I stopped taking 2. I was like,
which guitar?
Lately I've been taking the The Murphy Lab R9.
How do you pick between your 3 Les Pauls? Which one you're gonna take?
It's just whatever I'm feeling that day. It just
Yeah.
whichever one I'm feeling. Some days I know I'm not feeling the Les Paul. Some days I'm feeling, hey, I'm taking the Telecaster.
Right,
Or
right.
yeah, it just whatever I'm feeling that day.
So
The one I can't take. Like
mhm,
there are two I know I can never take. Well, not right now anyway. And it's this one right here, the Mulecaster. It is
mhm,
just too unique sounding for a covers gig. It is
right.
too unique. And anything in like baritone tuning, which
Just put
that is also in
just
baritone
put a
tuning.
capo on it.
I dude, I've thought about it. And like just not even tell him, like not tell the lead singer, the acoustic player, and just all of a sudden break out a baritone solo.
Yeah, you just drop it down.
Yep, drop it down.
I want to hit this Hetul Hetul. I don't
Oh,
know. Uh, I need to go to the Phil McKnight School of Pronouncing Usernames.
pedal.
Heddle. Yeah, it's probably Heddle. Sorry if this is unrelated, but I really want to know what picks you guys use. A few takes about picks in general. So the pick I've been
I just dumped a box of picks out.
pulling out because it's on a shelf for me is just a gravity pick.
Okay.
I don't remember because it's the gravity. It's the JHS gravity pick, which I think is a gravity classic. I
Yes.
want to say it's 2 millimeters, but I don't really remember. But the brand that I push, if I would say there's a brand that I push, and I'm trying to find the ones that I actually use, which my pick, I have a one of these guys that I keep picks in, and this one says it only goes to 11.
Yeah, I'm going through mine here. Oh, this is such a stupid thing. Like, why do I have this many picks? Why?
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 This is a really nice pick. This is the Buddy Blue signature pick from
Oh
Honey
yeah,
Picks.
from Honey Picks.
And this is probably this little blue honey pick. Yeah, I should really turn autofocus on.
Yeah, you should.
That's the one that I use the most when I'm thinking about using picks. But like I said, I've been using the JHS gravity pick because it's just sitting on a shelf.
I got you.
And
Let
but
me go grab my
but if I
other.
lost that one, I'd start when I'm thinking about like, oh, I really need to yeah, exactly. I use the JHS Gravity because it came free fitty with my flight delay. I use the JHS Gravity because I grabbed like 10 of them at a NAM, a bunch of years ago.
I'm gonna go grab my pick 10 that I actually gig with.
Go grab your pick 10 that you
Yeah,
actually
be right
gig
back.
with. But I really recommend Honey Picks. Rick is I think I would say he's a friend of the channel. And let's just take a look at their anniversary. They have 5-year anniversary picks right now, but some of these are limited edition. Apparently, there's a Bradford Mitchell signature pick now. I don't keep up with everything. They are on the expensive side. The Kieranite picks start at $15. Galath at $20. You can get like a variety pack, so you can kind of try out different things. That's cool. These other variety packs they have. They just came out with this one, the synthetic opal, which is really like looks really cool. And yeah, you can basically get any of the whatever resins or plastics that they're using at that time. You can get them in a bunch of different configurations and thicknesses. So that would be my recommendation if you're just looking for things to check out. And they have in a bunch of different materials. Apparently this Torlon, it kind of says like what's it supposed to be similar to. I recently got these Peak ones. This Peak material is really slick. It's very durable. It kind of gives like a Dunlop Prime, I think was their line. It's a very like a really smooth plastic feel. So yeah, looking at, is it the Stash? Is that what I ordered? No. I think I ordered maybe a Swarm pack once. But I don't actually know, I wouldn't have, because I don't, the 1mm, I don't really love that one. It's a little small. But yeah, let's see. Synthair, let's go back. Heddle Gravity, JHS Gravity's sick pick. Perform warmer, fatter tones, so usually Tortex. Yeah, I stopped using Tortex picks because they would always flake on me. And they would just shred everywhere, and I just kind of got, I would get the orange ones. I don't remember what size that is. Like, I think that's like 0.8 maybe. And they would just totally shred up and cover my pick guards with like orange flakes. And I was just like, not really into it. Synthair, smartest marketing ever on those gravity picks, giving them with pedals. I'd say Tortex, which is a giant, is behind them in common use. Everyone I know. I mean, Dunlop is just such a like
Goliath.
Yeah.
So I had a moment where I couldn't find my gig backpack, and I was like,
Did you panic?
It was everything's still in my car from the gig. Yes, I did mildly panic. The heart rate's still going a little bit. So,
is it not hot yet?
It's unseasonably cool here for this time of year. It's real weird. So I still have, and some are in another case, but I'm like looking through my like pick collection here. So I was on the Seymour Duncan forums when Gravity Pick started, and they asked some folks over there to beta test them before they launched. And so I've still got like a bunch from the beta test.
Like, nice.
These are from like 20 years ago.
Yeah. For whatever reason, when I went to Wonderground, which is my go-to weather website, I guess I looked it up. I'm gonna fuck this pronunciation up, but it is still set to Mississauga.
Oh yeah, Mississauga, Canada.
So, because all I know is I'm pretty sure you're saying it's unseasonably cool. I don't know what that means for you.
Oh, for me, it's staying like sub 85.
Oh, okay. Yeah, today's high in Menifee is 86, so it's much cooler than yesterday.
I also have a bunch of, this isn't all of them. I have like 6 or 7 more honey picks. But the reason I went to get mine lately, because I've been on a bit of a pick journey lately. Actually, I have several honey picks in here as well. And so I had Adam Miller on the podcast, and we got to talking about guitar picks, as you do on a guitar podcast. And he said he loved these. I'm grabbing a few of these because they're all a little different. Which one are you? Okay. So he uses the Dunlop Prime Tones.
Yeah.
And so I've been checking out the 3mm Dunlop Prime Tones. This one is their pointed version. This is the rounded version.
Right.
But the one I'm loving the most is this one.
Oh, nice.
This is the one that I think is supposedly similar to the blue chip pick.
Yeah. Well,
but it's like 10% of the cost.
Yeah, the Prime Tone resin, plastic, whatever, is supposed to be kind of in that vein. That's the same with the Honeytone Peak.
Yep.
Or Honey Pick's Peak pick.
And I have one of these that is very similar. It's a similar material, not quite the same.
Yeah.
Honey Picks. That's why it's in the pick 10 with these. But this is the one. They're not cheap, but they are way cheaper than like blue chips, which are like, I think blue chips are like $40 a pick. These are like
something
$6 a pick. So you know what I mean? So, or $5 a pick. I don't know.
The blue chip flat picks, $35 for the cheapest ones.
No, Absolutely not.
$75 for the most expensive one.
Yeah. No, thank you.
And I've heard kind of mixed. Like I know their whole thing is like, oh, it's uh secret formula, whatever.
Sure.
And I don't know,
I sometimes use this piece of crap.
I mean, Julian Lodge uses them, so they must be good. Yeah, that pick sucks. I just ordered a bunch of those.
Did you?
Yeah, had to replenish the supply.
I see y'all do those. Let me show you what a 40 watt podcast pick looks like. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. This is what a 40 watt podcast pick looks like.
Yeah, how much does that pick cost?
Rick cut me a deal because I ordered I think I ordered 20 of them, and I sent them to for Christmas one year to patrons who had been a patron for over a year. And so I sent a bunch out. I think that's the last one I have left.
My last pick order, I think, was like 200 picks, and I think it was like $100 for them. Something like that. 150 bucks.
Steve, what size picks do you like? What's the thickness of picks you prefer? That's a big question.
Like 2 millimeter.
Okay. See, I've been using. I love this material. This slicker nylon.
Yeah.
This is similar to the prime tones. These are
2.07s.
It's 2.07.
Okay.
So the 207, it means it's 207. At least I think it is. I think that's what that means. I don't think it's 3.
I've wanted to try jellyfish pick. I've always heard the tines just start breaking off pretty fast.
Yeah, I've heard they were awful. I've heard they were truly awful.
I did want to go back to Charles Taylor said stainless picks are the thing. I prefer thinner ones because it gives more bite attack. Perfect for SRV and Page. I haven't used a stainless pick since I was 18. So I probably have one somewhere, but I don't know where.
Yeah.
But I used to have one, and all I ever found with them is I would kill strings with them. So I think it really depends on how you're playing, and I was playing
I don't have any interest in a metal pick. None. I've done the file down quarters and pesos like Billy Gibbons does, and I have no interest in it. It doesn't sound good for me. It doesn't. And I do pick hard occasionally, and I don't want to destroy strings.
Right.
So instead I use stupid things like this if I want heavy sounds.
Jeez, 5.6.
Yeah, dude. That's a chunky boy.
Phil S. Norwich Guitar says, got an eBay advert recently for used Billy Gibbons for $80.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Celebrity Plectrum Market. Oh.
People will buy anything. That's all. I'm just going to leave it at that. People will buy anything. Did you get one of these? I think I got this at NAMM. I may have gotten it at Fretboard Summit though.
I have one. I think it is from NAMM.
Yeah. So I
don't know who the brand is.
Me either, but it's 3 different thicknesses and materials.
Yeah.
So you can flip it around and use whichever end. This is a really uncomfortable position for my wrist. Why am I not using my right hand? So yeah, it's really interesting. I've used it a couple of times, mainly because I like it's got the thin one for strumming. I don't know. It's an interesting idea.
In fact, I have one of those, and it's in my bin of things to send to our $10 tier patrons.
Yeah, me. No, I'm kidding. I have one. Don't send it to me.
I actually have some stuff I need to buy. I've been sitting on a stack of, coming back to this, a stack of these, but a stack
send me one
of a stack of Bees Music slip mats. I need to order some. I need to order some Amazon record shipping boxes.
Yeah, I ended up giving those away when I did the giveaway last year.
Yeah.
for a bunch of pedals and stuff like that. So I gave
I
those slip mats there.
I need to. I've been, I've had those for like over a year. I haven't given them away because I don't want to roll them up. And my wife just recently ordered a record, and I was looking at the box. And I was like, I should just buy these boxes. It's not like I'm not going to get paid back on them. So
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just being a dumbass.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything, but yeah, no, I'm really bad about sending stuff out too. I have some things. I've still got to film this freaking Jazzmaster video and get this Jazzmaster to give away. So I waiting on, so it didn't come with a gig bag, and I was like, I don't want to give this away without a gig bag. So
Right.
I think
Right.
Sweetwater's sending me a gig bag for the
Oh,
giveaway.
nice.
So
Is it going to be a gator?
yeah, of course. They've got this really, really nice, at least it was suggested. I don't know if this is what will be sent. No one hold me to this. But they sent me as a possibility. They've got this really, really nice bold red limited edition, like $250 gig bag. I'm like, the gig bag's more expensive than the guitar.
Yeah.
Almost.
So, Gator is owned by Sweetwater now.
Sweetwater bought it, yeah. So
But
they were already sharing like facility space, I think, because they're both
okay.
in the same area. So there's already a relationship between Gator and Sweetwater. Gator was one of the few women-owned and operated companies in this industry. But I think ultimately, and it was a family that had owned it.
Yeah.
I think ultimately they wanted to get out of it, and Sweetwater made the right offer. They were already there. It made a lot of sense. So.
Yeah, I'm looking. They were in Fort Wayne, and then they moved to Columbia City. Where the hell is Columbia City?
Nobody knows.
It's outside. It's just outside of Fort Wayne.
Okay.
And then so Gator had owned so Gator existed. They bought a company called Protector Cases in 2008.
Yep.
And then they created the Gator Frameworks line. Then they bought Viking Cases.
Okay.
I didn't realize Gator owned Levy's Leathers.
I didn't know that either.
It was interesting. And then and then now I guess they are though it's not on their website, my understanding is they're headquartered apparently in Florida, but they are owned by Sweetwater.
Yeah.
But they're still because I was kind of surprised. I was at Guitar Center a week or so ago, and I was surprised to see Gator stuff there, but they're not taking it exclusive apparently.
No, you can still buy it everywhere.
Which kind of brings me, to and of course, so if Sweetwater owns Gator, does that mean that Sweetwater, who is owned by private equity, also owns Gator, which means Gator is owned by private equity that's owned by private equity? It's just turtles all the way down. Me. It's just turtles all the way down.
100%.
I can't wait until we hear about Sweetwater dismantling Gator cases for parts.
Oh, God. Moving on. Acoustasonic opinions. Steve.
I don't have one. I haven't played one since the original run, so
I have a take. It's a pretty standard fuddy-duddy traditionalist take. I don't like them. But ultimately the reason I don't like them is that I don't like the idea of, so the ones I've played, I don't know if you can string them the other way. They're all strung with acoustic strings because the acoustic simulation is like the main thing. Playing electric guitar, but with acoustic strings is god awful. It's truly terrible.
Yeah. It feels so different.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
If you got used to playing 13s and you drop down to like a phosphor bronze set of 10s, then
I would rather download a great acoustic IR and put that in a Tonex and use that to sound sort of like an acoustic than to go the other way around.
Let's see. Any cheap reverb pedals with the freeze feature? I have no idea. Ryan may have done a video for one. He does a lot of random reverb pedals,
Yeah.
but I don't know of any.
Yeah.
The question is, do you aim at fast picking or adding mini? I don't know if this is directed to us or directed to the chat.
I just in general.
And I don't know the answer to this question because I don't really aim at anything. I just
Steve
shoot.
Scattershot Pro over here.
Yeah, it's a shotgun approach. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just happy to find 10 minutes to strum a chord or two and make a sound.
I do focus on technique because my technique is bad and I'm getting older, and so it's getting harder and harder to keep it. Keep it at just bad instead of terrible. So
Okay, I've seen you play. Shut up.
yeah, but like there's still a part of me that's like, I remember the player I was 10 years ago. I remember the player I was
Right.
15 years ago. I'm not that player anymore. So I'm not saying I'm a bad player. I'm actually not. My technique is bad though, and my accuracy is bad. So I'm working on it a lot lately. And that's part of the pick journey as well, because you look for the pick that helps you be the most accurate, that fits your hand.
Right.
But picks, there's definitely a tone thing to picks. Actually, that's why I love this honey pick more than I love, say, this honey pick. They're dirty because you can see I use them. They do catch dirt. I like the tone of this material. This material has like a chirpiness to it.
Right, right.
You can see I've worn it down on one side too. Look at that. Yeah. So I pay attention to the sound of picks. But mostly I go for the one that allows me to play the smoothest.
Right.
And I think I've shown this before. This is my favorite pick that I never use.
The camera does not want to focus on that.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's from a company called Pointless Picks.
Oh, jeez.
Because there is no point.
Yeah, I see.
You hold it in the middle, and it is not as awkward to play as it looks like. It is not.
I mean,
it's actually really, really smooth to play.
I would believe it.
To it. There's something to it.
I played with quarters, like not reshaped quarters, just quarters. Oh,
this is 0.72.
I found a review of them, but I'm not. I can't find an actual website.
Pointlesspicks.com is what's on the pick. I don't know if they still exist. No,
they do not exist. Pointless Picks is now an orthodontics website. Wait, it's just a random review page.
Yeah, but that is the pick. Pointless Picks.
Oh my gosh!
I guess they don't exist anymore.
I looked at the blue 1 millimeter pointless pick, a silly review for a silly pick. I'm getting quote around to it, circling an idea that was pointless. So they said. First off, I must ask, will the circle be unbroken as the song goes on?
God, it's so bad.
Yeah. Let's see. Fish scale picks, large. Thoughts on tuning machines. Where is it? There it was. Thing is taking a few dies off the stand and broke 3, needs new ones. Would rather have that Jazzmaster giveaway. I've heard a lot of really good things about the Geiger tuning machines. I don't have no experience. I have no experience with them. I don't really know a ton about the brand, honestly. They seem kind of like they're sitting in that musically window of just cranking out a bunch of stuff. And then of course they call them Geiger professional tuners, so they must be good because you can't call your stuff professional if it's not good, right? That's like a law.
I guess so. It's on the internet. It must be true.
And they do a lot of these color combo things, which may or may not be your vibe. I don't know. I mean, you can still get them in chrome, black, or gold. The chrome ones are like chrome, and these are locking tuners, so the little Geiger plate on it is a different color, but I actually think that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't really have an opinion on those. It all depends on what you want to what kind of guitar you're putting them on. But like, you can buy Godo tuners for $40.
Yeah. Hey, Sean.
What's up, Sean? You can buy literally a set of decent, like good, decent quality Godo tuners for $40.
Yeah.
They're 15-to-1 ratio. You can buy 18-to-1 ratios on the 3x3s.
Yeah.
They're not locking. You got to pay a little more if you want to get into locking. But that's okay. I'm also I don't think locking tuners are the shit. Like everybody else does. I think if you know how to string your guitar properly, you don't need locking tuners.
I've never owned a guitar with locking tuners.
I've owned a few.
So
I
there's
own a couple now. The White Falcon has locking tuners.
that feels weird.
So the Player series of Japan made Gretches, they come with the string through bridge for the Bigsby. So it's string through bar instead of trying to hit the loop on that little peg for the Bigsby, and they have locking tuners. That's like the Player upgrades.
Yeah. I want to come back to this comment, but I need to step out for a minute.
Oh, okay. So while Steve steps out for a second, we'll talk more about picks then. Because I love this conversation. I have so many picks over here. I have wooden picks. This is a rosewood. Let's see what else. I've only got a couple of those left. I gave most of them to Xander from Working Class Music because he really likes those timber tone picks. This has been a fun one. These are just Voltic electronic devices. These are John's picks that he gives away at his booth. These are some of my favorite picks of all time. Steal the picks from people's booths, y'all. They want you to do it. I'm serious. Don't tell them I sent you. So RK, as far as vintage tuners versus locking tuners, I think the easiest tuners you can buy to change are these vintage style tuners. I think they're the easiest. With the split posts, I have never had an issue with strings in these style tuners. They're my favorite. That's a really good shot. I can't believe that got that focused. So, I highly recommend those if you've got a guitar that has like, if you got a guitar that has 6 in line, just get the vintage style, not necessarily vintage tuners. I actually would change vintage tuners. Change them out, put the vintage tuners in the case. Don't ever use them because they break. What's up, Steve?
What I miss?
We talked about tuners a little more and guitar picks.
I'm gonna say this about this comment that I have pulled up. I don't know if I will ever be convinced that Robo tuners were the worst, as bad as like people say they are.
I'm gonna piggyback here. Then we're gonna have this debate. I think they were absolutely as bad as everyone thought they were, but that's not because the idea of Robo tuners is bad. The implementation of those was bad.
Do you think the technology itself was bad, or
I tried them quite a few times. I had some friends who had them. They would go rogue and just snap strings.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they would just decide, oh, I can't find tuning here, and just keep going until they snapped strings. And it was just, they were messy. They were really bad to calibrate if they went off.
Right.
I think the idea isn't the worst thing in the world, but it did not get, that system was not good.
Right.
Is the ultimate.
I kind of, my biggest issue was the fact, was it 2016 when they just slapped them on it? Like the only things that they offered that did not have those tuners on them. There were 3 signature models that didn't have it. The entire rest of the lineup had it. I
What a
think that was
terrible idea.
a bigger mistake.
Yep. Also, I hated that 100-year logo on all of those guitars as well.
The Les Paul
Yeah,
100 signature.
it looked like a 5-year-old wrote it. It was so bad.
That's not his real signature?
It might be, but when he was 100 years old,
The problem is when you look for Les Paul signature, it brings up the model, the Les Paul signature. Let's look for Les Paul autograph. Apparently it looks like this.
let's see. That's pretty similar to what's on the headstock of a Les Paul.
Yeah. So the Les Paul 100, yeah.
Yeah, look at that one directly below it in the middle, right there. Yeah, that's. I mean, you neaten it up, and it looks like the headstock signature.
Les Paul 100 Gibson. Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
So that's just what his handwriting looked
It looks
like.
terrible.
Sorry.
They should have kept the regular script, and they could have done underneath in gold 100 anniversary or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
they could have, but they didn't.
And therefore, all of those guitars should be put under bulldozers.
What does this? I don't know what this means. Tyler Larson at Music is Win. That's his last name. I was trying to remember it the other day.
He put I think the video. I don't watch a lot of Tyler's videos.
Bill Jugga says the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure you all have seen the Music is Win video. Well, apparently I haven't. They tightened up so much they cracked the finish.
Yep.
If not the guitar.
Those things went rogue. Now imagine AI. Oh, I see Charles saying. Also, Charles said locking tuners go on every guitar. I wholeheartedly disagree.
I saw it.
Yep.
Oh, this one locking.
Yeah, must have.
Nah,
I wholeheartedly disagree.
I mean, all my guitars are surviving without it.
An awful lot of great music was made without locking tuners. Going for the Nashville tuning, but with standard gauge strings. That'll crack a headstock.
Ooh. Oh, I mean, is that what happens?
I don't think that's what happens
with these robo tuners. Is they can't tell that they're already above pitch, so they just keep going higher. Like what?
Man, that's a good question. I don't know. Something's faulty in the code, and so Gibson ended up suing that company that made those because they didn't deliver on the tech they were promised.
The Tronical.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard.
And then they sued Gibson. Like there was a whole suing each other.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've kind of heard weird. Okay, Gibson tuning gear company settled dispute.
Yeah.
The article. So Gibson actually settled with Tronical, supposedly paying Tronical $4.6 million. The agreement also calls for other claims between the parties to be set aside, for lawsuits to be dismissed with prejudice, and for Gibson to be able to dispose of its remaining Tronical tuners as it sees fit, which means that they ran over him with a bulldozer. But
okay, so yeah.
somebody says that they've been out of business for years. This is from the Gibson forum, so I don't know.
Oh, sure, yeah. I have a Nashville Post article on it. So Gibson sued them for failure to meet contract, and Tronical replied in kind, claiming $50 million in damages based on licensing fees and an alleged breach of contract. Apparently, and this was in the height of Gibson's bankruptcy case before when they changed leadership. So I think part of that was just getting this off the table. And so Gibson ended up settling at $4.6 million instead of the $50 million Tronical wanted. Gotcha. And part of the agreement was all the other lawsuits would get set aside and gone. So,
yeah, it's kind of
just a bad move.
It's kind of an odd like this person is basically, one of the comments on here says that Tronicle has always been kind of shady.
Yeah.
That they've always kind of just had this seat of their pants, like approached everything. I don't again, I don't really know. I
Yeah.
don't know a lot about Tronicle. What? Tronicle was acquired by GNL?
Oh.
That doesn't, but that's an AI result, so who
Okay.
freaking
Yeah,
knows?
yeah. Don't trust that. Don't trust that.
I'm not seeing. And
Because
there's like,
there were Tronicle auto tuners for like 6 in a line headstocks and other stuff as well, not just Gibsons.
I'm trying to see like anything about on their website about who. Anyway, I don't know. Guitar Hall of Tune.
Good morning,
Their
Snarky.
website's kind of
Finally
thing.
joining us.
Let's see. Hey y'all, just working up. Hi Snarky. Steve, can you explain how it's not hoarding if it's guitars? She doesn't believe me. It's hoarding.
If it's only one thing, it's collecting.
It's probably hoarding.
If it's just one thing, it's collecting.
What do you mean if it's just one thing?
Like
if
if
it's
you're
all
just
strats?
if it's just all guitars, that's just collecting. But if you like, I've got this is my guitar stack. This is my 1980 cereal box stack. This is my, liquor bottles that I consumed while I was in college stack.
Are you saying that you can't? So, I mean, I think there's
Okay, you can get to a point with one thing where you hoard it, where you're hoarding. I immediately thought of Pete.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, hoarding.
yeah. Oh,
Very,
that's
very organized hoarding, but it's hoarding.
yes. At some point, you're kind of just collecting.
Yeah.
I don't know when your collection becomes a hoard.
When it affects your mental health and your daily life.
So, every once in a while I get an ad for a escrow service for estate sale, and it will be like 75 fucking like 90s silver tones,
Oh,
like not cool
jeez.
silver tones, like
Yeah, no.
freaking strats and P basses and stuff. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, that kind of seems like hoarding when not a single guitar in your entire collection is worth more than $125, but you have like 40 of them.
Yeah, that's hoarding. That's hoarding.
Yeah.
That's 100% hoarding. Do we want to talk about Kemper?
I don't know what this is about.
Oh,
And
so
if
Kemper
you
released
know,
Kemper Profiler Mark II, new head. They finally put out a new one. I watched a couple of videos. I can't give you like a deep dive because I've not played it, obviously, and I'm not going to play it unless somebody wants to give me one to try out, because I'm not going to buy one. But I will say that it looks like a whole lot of too little, too late. Because I feel like Kemper's been losing like ground in the market around modelers and capture devices. And people have been wanting kind of an update to the Kemper for a while. And this update, while, more DSP, there's a couple of other quality of life things. Ultimately, it seems like the sounds are all still the same.
The updated profilers boasts 7 new effects. Wow.
Oh,
7.
We got a crazy one over here.
Upgraded profiling technology and improvements to boot times, preset switching, and user interface responsiveness. You know who else has probably brought on 7 new effects? Well, they don't do profiling. Probably improved boot time and preset switching without a brand new whole freaking product. These guys
Is line 6. Yep.
These guys right here.
Though somebody did point it out to me the other day, and I'm just out here to throw rumor mill at this point. I think we're at the longest it's been between updates on the Helix right now. I think
Really?
we're over 6 months since they've put anything out, and I think that's the longest. I think we're getting close to 2.0.
I was gonna say the rumors on Helix 2 uh have been, oh, there's actually a video. Good grief, people, back in January, Tone Junkie,
Yeah.
Helix 2 will use this capture technology, but it's labeled
No, it
as
won't.
conspiracy theory.
Helix 2. Well, unless they've changed something since somebody told me. I did ask someone at Yamaha about Helix
Mhm,
2
mhm.
a couple years ago, and they told me, he said, "Here's what I can tell you.
Yeah,
One, we are in active development of the follow-up flagship unit to the Helix." Said probably won't be called Helix 2, but whatever it's called, we're working on it. And he said that currently we are not pursuing any capture tech. I do not think that the Helix will go capture technology.
right. So one of the arguments I think that's I just saw a video, it's actually published 2 days ago on WT Tone, which is the worship tutorials, which because all of these well,
You said
particularly,
it's worship tutorials. I read it as what the tone?
yeah, what the tone. But it's worship tutorials is a super big channel
Yeah.
for church musicians to learn how to play songs and riffs that are popular in church. Andrew says I think they will announce a new one on Wednesday, and maybe that's what this video is
Okay,
about. I don't
Andrew,
know.
if you called that, that would be impressive.
Um, but they're basically, just briefly, I think, kind of making the argument that because they do these big firmware upgrades,
Uh-huh.
and possibly because how they're implemented, um, that yeah, the hardware is not being updated, but effectively we already are on Helix 3.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. No, when we say Helix upgrade, we mean hardware. We mean
Yeah,
more
yeah, for
DSP.
sure.
We mean more capacity. We mean additional connections and like I think a honestly, a lot of people would lose their mind with joy if they just had a way to Bluetooth control their Helix from their phone. Like not like full-time control it like you have
Oh
to
yeah,
with
yeah,
some
yeah.
stuff, but like if there was a Bluetooth editor where you could edit on the phone really easily, I
Hmm.
think a lot of people would be very happy with just that much.
I'm going through my search history trying to find a very specific video,
Joey, don't sell your HX Stomp.
and all
You
I'm finding is how to pronounce Sault Marie.
Susmeriosep?
What? That's a different thing
Oh, I
completely.
know. Joey, on your selling your HX Stomp, don't do that because the flagship will come out first. You won't see the mini unit for a little while. That's my guess. You won't see whatever the micro version of the unit is for another year after that, maybe.
There we go. Just organize the guitars, clean and play every single one. It's not hoarding if you're using them, or you could let me have one. I mean, I think that's actually, Ryan and I talked about this on a recent episode. Like, how do you know you have too many guitars? It's when you can't keep up with the maintenance
Yeah.
or don't keep up with the maintenance. Honestly, like I probably have too many guitars by those guidelines, but
See, and
whatever.
that's actually a guideline that keeps me where I am because I do keep up with the maintenance and I do play them all regularly, and it's a problem. Still, I just have too many, Steve.
Yeah.
I'm going through picks while we're chatting. This is I should never have poured these picks out on my table.
Phil S. Norwich Guitar says never go through your search history. I'm just trying to find this video because I wanted to talk about it, and uh it's called like Death of Guitar YouTube or something.
Oh yeah,
Um
RJ
Ministry of
definitely shared
Guitar.
that in our
No,
chat.
no, I know. That's why I was thinking of it. I'm not subscribed to this channel. Maybe I should, but I'm not. But I actually do like I'm gonna post it. I think this
Ian's
will
got a
post
great
this video.
point too.
Given a certain situation, would you release now or hold off and keep developing until things stabilize?
That's such a difficult question.
I think if I'm line 6, I probably I think I still release now.
I see that. So that's where I'm leaning, but like I can't tell you why. I'm
Yeah.
saying that I think you go ahead and release, but I can't make it make sense.
I know what I
Well, yeah, we know
I
what he's
know what
saying.
he's alluding to, but honestly, I think the situation might be more is right now I part of me is with the Kemper 2 thing with they just had Nanos 2, the Nano Cortex version 2 thing come out already.
Yeah.
Um and I'm thinking of it more in the context of those two other brands. I kind of think the longer Line 6 waits, the better the product has to be. The
Oh, yeah.
more they are at risk of people looking at the product and saying, "Yeah, but Nano Cortex gave us this 6 months ago."
100%. I think it's the same thing when Fender launched the Tone Master,
Yeah.
and we all went. You saw the competition, right? And then
Yeah.
you launched this. So, because
Yeah.
it the anything that launches new from another company, let's put this out there in the universe first.
Mhm.
Anything from a new company that gets launched into this space, because the parameters are so well set by the fractals, by the helix, by the Kemper, by the
Right.
Quadcortex, the expectations are so established. You better come ready to compete day one, or you will get left behind. Or you better be so cheap that they can't help but pay attention to you. I'm looking at Veilton, Tonex, those kinds of things.
Yeah. So I posted this video in the chat. I'm gonna just share the screen real quick so people can see what it is. It's this dude. The channel's called Ministry of Guitar. Um, and he posted this video called the uh he sorry, I'm getting distracted.
Yeah. Hold on.
Um,
Then while I'm distracted, snarky, snarky. The headstocks, the hold on. Let me see if I can. The guitar hangers themselves are level. Guitars are different lengths, man. That's why there's
yeah,
different. Oh,
that's
he can't see it because you're showing the video. So
no, I could see it. I saw that comment. That's the comment that broke my brain.
you can, but he can't because you're showing the screen. They only see the screen, I think.
No, it should be set up as a three-way.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so
We're in a
the
three-way
hangers
with Ministry
themselves
of
are
Guitar.
leveled. It's all
Anyway,
level.
yeah, I need this comment. So this video, the Slow Death Guitar YouTube, I think it's really interesting. I do think it kind of takes a while to get to its point, but I think it's a fun watch.
Mhm.
I actually really like this channel. You know what? Screw it. Subscribe. Um, because I think he has a kind of a bit of an outsider take. That he lives in Singapore, I think. So it's very much like a Southeast Asian perspective on the guitar culture, and so a lot of the guitars in his background here, these Gibsons and PRSs and stuff, I
Yeah.
think he buys them in Japan. Oh, look, here's a Hughes and Kettner amp. Speaking of things, but I know he's in one of the videos of his I watched. He talked about how he would go up to Japan like a couple times a year just to like look for guitars or whatever,
Mhm.
and or maybe they're business trips and he does guitars while he's there. Um, but one of the things that I think is interesting in this video is is the idea that guitar YouTube is in decline. And I think guitar YouTube in some ways is in decline, in other ways it's not. Um it really depends because uh he does look at average video count, but he looks at it for channels like Music is Win, which I think are kind of already peak.
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
looks at it for channels like actually, let's see. Yeah, he looks at Music is Win, Mary Spender, and Agu Fish, which Agu Fish I think is more representative of the bottom, which I think is interesting. And and but Agu Fish I think sees less of a decline on the average. Yeah, average views for videos previous period. So he's getting 85% versus these other declines. I looked at it for our channel for 60 cycle hum,
Right.
and the problem is I couldn't do the average views per video when I tried to do it, but I think ours might be down. One of the things that has changed a lot that he talks about in this video is how the 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 difficulty in going viral. And I know when we talked about this in our chat, Ryan was
Yep.
talking about how, like, well, chasing virality uh isn't
It's a
doesn't
bad
work.
business model.
It's a bad business model. But I don't think any of these people, Tyler or Mary Spender or Agufish necessarily chase virality. I think 5 or 6 years ago, it was just easier to go viral.
I agree. I think 5 or 6 years ago it was way easier to go viral than it is now. Also, there's more creators now. But additionally, unless he can see the back end, I don't maybe one of the aggregate sites that do the stats for YouTube can give you this information because I didn't watch his video, right?
Mhm.
Um unless you can get here's what these videos did 2 years ago in a 1 month period and here's what these videos now are
Right,
doing in a one
right.
month period, you need apples to apples. Those old videos are going to keep getting views.
I think what he did is he looked at from, say, from January to December 2023,
Uh-huh.
um, and then from December to January 2024, and just looked at every video launched in that period, what their average view count was.
Gotcha.
And so the thing is the way I think I would approach that to maybe make the numbers a little more interesting would be to remove outliers.
Yeah.
Because I do wonder how much virality contributes to those numbers moving. Because if the argument is that it's harder to go viral, and to your point, it is also harder to gauge, like, videos from 2 years ago are going to continue to aggregate views. So,
Exactly.
like you said, your 2023 videos will pick up a few thousand more views in 2024
Mm-hmm.
just from the course of time. But I don't know if they're picking up. I made the screen go away too soon, I
It,
guess.
it was like
Um,
35 to 25% more.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're picking up that many views in that length of time. What I brought up this Rickenbacker video, the short form version of Ryan destroying the chickenbacker,
Mm-hmm.
uh, is has done very well for channels other than ours. Um,
Gotcha.
but the actually we've had do decently on Instagram. Um, but I think this video, which only has 32,000 views,
Yeah.
if this video had been released in like 2019, I think this would have been a 500,000 views
Yeah.
video. Like
100%.
this kind of content, I think used to do a lot better. And it can still do better, but it's a much more competitive market, and that's where a lot of that, like, you can't chase virality idea comes from. Um, and it is kind of interesting to look at different channels, and I do think maybe by only picking Music Is Win and Mary Spender, who I would argue is not really a guitar creator anymore,
No, she's a lifestyle.
and
She's a musician
Agufish,
lifestyle channel.
yeah, that's not a knock, it's just
No,
the
that's
reality of it.
yes, that's what she is. What she's good
Um,
at it. She's very good at it.
yeah, but you look at Phil's most popular videos. I mean, he had a video that got almost 4 million views 9 years ago.
Ooh.
But 3 years ago, I don't know what this is, this guitar, but 1.6 3 years ago, 1.4 2 years ago. So
Yeah.
1.3 1 year ago, like, he's still actually putting up really good numbers on some of these
Yeah.
more recent ones. Now you got to go further back. You got 7 months ago, Fender fires. I don't know what this is about. Maybe this is about the Squire debut series. I don't know, but 765,000. Um, so I mean, I think there are channels that if you were to pick the right channel, to analyze their numbers are going to be way. I think folks like Landon,
Yeah.
Landon Bailey, Andy, Guitar Geek, Henning, their numbers for 2024 are probably much higher than their numbers on 2023. Just speculating here based on their subscriber growth.
Oh, well, same thing with like Emily at Get Offset.
Get Offset.
She's grown massively in the last year.
So and I do also think it's important to pick, and Emily would be one of them, because I'm also thinking like Jason's grown his solo channels majorly in the last year.
Yeah, yes.
But because he's a newer creator, I don't know that there's not enough history there to analyze it all. But I do think the guitar YouTube used to be a lot more universal. I mean, you think about, and when I say that, I mean, like, I forget music is when exists. Dude has over 1 million subscribers, and I don't ever see people really talking about him anymore. And that's not a knock on him. A channel that I think of as in my head used to be a universal sort of channel, who only has 57,000 subscribers, which blows my freaking mind.
Who's that?
Mike Hermans.
Oh, wow, really?
But Mike Hermans has like the Boss, good Lord. The Boss SI1 synthesizer, 170,000 views 5 years ago. Like, he was kind of at the big name in guitar demo videos a few years ago.
Sure.
I think of Mike Hermans. I don't know if this is fair. I guess he used to do demos for Pro Guitar Shop. Yeah, joined April. When did he start doing demos? 15 years ago. He's got a bunch of like guitar solo work. But when did he actually start doing? He started doing demos, it looks like maybe 13 years ago. So I think of Mike Hermans kind of in the same way I think about Gearman Dude.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that a YouTuber guitar channel cage match is a good idea. I'm not. I'm not opposed to this. I think it would be so dumb in the way that like Sweetwater, they did the was the roadie challenge, I think it was called.
Yeah. I remember that
a couple years ago, and some of that, like, I remember like watching it and being like, yeah, some of these folks are definitely musicians. Rodeo games, that's what it was called, rodeo games. But that was fun, but it was very goofy. Yeah, Vil Jugget says, when it comes to pedal reviews, I watch Mark Johnston and Emily Hopkins.
I love Mark's demos and reviews.
I don't know. Okay, Cynthia, what does this mean? Vertex would be Hulk Hogan?
I don't know.
I'm
YouTuber guitar channel cage match.
Oh,
yeah, cage match.
Oh,
all right, y'all. So, Steve, we're getting close to the end here. We've already been going 2 hours, man.
Yeah, in the cage. I don't. Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna do, just for fun, gonna mention a couple of things.
Yeah, let's mention a couple of things. You mentioned a couple.
Talk about this. I'm gonna try to film some of this tonight, but obviously I don't have the gig bag yet. This is not the guitar I meant to grab. The guitar I meant to grab is in the other room, the Jazzmaster for the giveaway. So I am going to be giving away a Jazzmaster. I'm going to be putting Seymour Duncan's silencer Jazzmaster pickups in it, and a Gun Street wiring harness, and Sweetwater is providing a gig bag. So hopefully, if my life will slow down for a second, that video will go out 7-10 days from now. Be on the lookout. One of the ways to enter it is to subscribe to 40 Watt Podcast. So if you want to go ahead and get a head start, go subscribe on YouTube to 40 Watt Podcast. But right now, live, I am sitting at 2,999 followers on Instagram. So if somebody is watching right now and does not follow me on Instagram, whoever is the 3,000th follow on Instagram, I will send you a 3-pack of your choice of Dunlop Primetone picks.
Oh, wow.
So
I'm actually going to go unfollow you on Instagram.
You ass.
Oh, I could go follow you on one of my alt.
You could,
accounts.
and I would send it to you. But if you beat the next person that follows
me, I'm not really. I have my phone nearby, but not nearby enough.
Let's see what happens. I don't know if maybe everyone watching is actually already following me on Instagram. So somebody unfollowed me. So now it's at $29.98. Now it's back to $29.99. Oh, $29.99. We're gonna see who gets there. Oh, there we go. Somebody got there. And that is gonna be Holly. So Holly, I'll message you on Instagram. So be looking for that message. Holly was the 3,000th follower on Instagram.
Yep. Snarky says I have a spare wood. He means woodcutter I could give away.
Yeah.
But I also have a spare woodcutter I could sell on Reverb. Yeah, 40 Watt podcast on YouTube.
Yeah, go follow that. Hopefully the video will go out. Watch the recent episode with Zach. I've only had to delete one hateful comment on it so far. So
oh,
hacking.
Nice.
All right, Holly, I'll send you a message on Instagram and we'll some prime times.
What is I don't know if I have anything else. Let's take maybe one. If there's one more question. You guys have any more questions? No more super chats, please.
No more super chats. Please don't do that.
That's what Phil McKnight said 10 minutes ago.
We already have to invoice Ryan for the $15 for today.
Oh my gosh. I could just do that on my end and then add it on to one of my it's complicated.
Add that to your invoices.
Yeah.
And
I guess this one. What is this one?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think how hard it would be to organize a guitar YouTuber cage match.
Oh, that would be fun.
Would Ryan and I have to, like, if this was like WrestleMania, would Ryan and I both be in the Royal Rumble, or would we only be allowed to compete in the tag team tournament?
Hold on, I'm asking ChatGPT to do it. Let's see if it can do it. And I would not be included in this list, I'm sure. So I had it create a Royal Rumble cage match tournament format of guitar podcasters and YouTubers. Let's see what happens. Let's see who. It's going to be interesting to see who it picks as the combatants.
Yeah.
So there's going to be 20 combatants.
Oh, Richard F says heel turn betray him.
All right, let's see. Oh my God, it gave gimmicks to all of them too.
Are you able to present this?
I don't know. I'm gonna read it though. It'll be funnier. Oh my God. Then it asks if I'd like to get it turned into a visual bracket or presented as a script style video concept.
Good grief.
So here we go. And we'll end on this. I can't read the chat, so you have to tell me if I need to stop for anything. 20-player Royal Rumble style tournament where each contestant enters the cage at timed intervals and battles are decided through guitar challenges, tone wars, riff-offs, and gear debates. Last person standing in the cage is crowned the Tone Titan champion. Oh God, so bad. Venue, the Gear Cage, a virtual cage rigged with amps, pedals, mics, and traps like exploding flangers and delay loop time warps.
I don't think we need anybody to die.
Entry, 2 players start. A new contestant enters every 2 minutes. Eliminations are by judge panel, fan votes, gear malfunctions, loss in head-to-head guitar challenges, or being pedal board swapped into oblivion. Final 4, become a tag team supergroup for one final boss level jam challenge. Winner gets the mythical Clon of Destiny and crowned the King of Tone.
Just real quick, because RJ's seeing things. So Line 6 has a live stream in 10 days. So that's why people think Helix 2 is going to be coming out this month.
Yeah. So here we go. Here are the combatants and their gimmick. First, Rhett Shull. Smooth southern tones and slide solo eliminator is his gimmick. Mary Spender. Classy strat sniper with vocal harmony traps. Pete Thorne. Session shredder, silent but deadly. Rick Beato. Theory god. Summons modes to fight. Tyler Larson. Meme wizard. Weaponized dad jokes.
Oh my god, his boomer jokes are so bad.
They're so bad. Jared Dines, 37-string guitar thrower. Ola England, Swedish chug machine tone chainsaw. Fluff, beard aura grants plus 10 tone resistance. What? Andertons, Lee and Rob. It's interesting it said Lee and Rob. Dual text with infinite tone banter.
Yeah, because freaking ChatGPT is pulling from 10-year-old articles.
I love it. I love it. Emily Harris, get offset. Pedal Warlock with indie invisibility cloak.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. That's their gimmick.
Michael Krause just wants to know which YouTuber is most likely to swing a folding chair.
Well, let's see if we get to that. Actually, I'll tell you who. It's the not this next one, but it's the one after.
All right.
Henning Pauly, German precision chaos, destroys with loops. This one would be the most likely. Glenn Fricker, brutal honesty beam, throws bass players as weapons.
Oh my gosh.
Steve from Boston, classic shredder with boomer bends of doom. Trogley, collector's curse, sends cursed guitars at foes. Ryan Burke, surf, rock, sonic waves, and dad humor stuns. Nick Johnston, shred monk, vanishes mid-scale. Sarah Longfield, tapping storm, warps between tunings. Tim Pierce, the legendary studio strike from behind the mix bus. Okay. Tosin Abasi, polyrhythm dimension hopper. And then, oh, this is funny. That pedal show, Mick and Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Ambiance masters. Summon stereo delay dragons. This is the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen. Oh, and the guest judges would be Satriani, Nita Strauss, Yvette Young, or Keith Merrow.
What a random
I love the chaos of ChatGPT. I really do.
Glenn Fricker as George the Animal Steel.
I love it. I love it.
Phil S. Norwich, last thing, maybe on Guitar Tube Island. It would be kind of cool if they had to build their own instruments out of palm trees or use fish guts for strings. Best performer gets a rowboat. I think I don't know. The problem, you need such a big sponsor for Guitar Tube Island to work. Yeah. Michael Krause says no Phil McKnight.
Joey Skarsgård, Giacomo Torra is totally the heel of all heels. No, he's not. He's the manager who talks a lot of smack, but then when somebody tries to come after him, he throws his wrestler in front of him.
Yeah. No, that's accurate. Somebody else. Oh, Rumi just made a video talking about that guy briefly.
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm so over it.
Yeah, I think what's tomorrow's podcast? Oh, plugins. Tomorrow on the podcast we talk about plugins. I don't want to talk about plugins right now because I talk about it with Ryan tomorrow, but we talk about plugins on the show tomorrow. So if you want to know what my opinion and Ryan's opinion is on plugins, tune in tomorrow. Though I think the far more interesting topic on tomorrow's podcast is when and if you're in the Patreon, that audio is already available, so maybe you've already listened to it. But I think the far more interesting topic that we covered is the Yoko Ono AI generated pedal that's been making the rounds, which I will also not get into too much here because I get into it tomorrow, which means I got into it 2 weeks ago and it's finally being published tomorrow. But so that's that. That was what was that? The Yoko Ono pedal thing was not a chosen topic. We just stumbled into it. But needless to say, I have very strong opinions on it. But anyway,
yeah.
That's it for me. You got anything else?
No, I'm good.
You're
I'm
all
gonna go eat
good. We're all
lunch.
good. All right. Michael Kraus says you already listened. Thanks for listening, Michael.
Yeah, thanks for listening. I haven't. I'm way behind. I'm behind on y'all's. I think I'm like 2 episodes behind.
Very
It's
disappointing.
been a busy couple of weeks.
See a bunch of you hopefully in the premiere chat for that podcast tomorrow. Hopefully
Yeah.
I'll be there. If I have the time to take a break from work, I will be
Yeah.
there. All right. Bye,
Later, y'all.
everybody. Stay
Bye.
grounded. Ending stream. Out. You can send an outro video?
Oh my, what?
End.
Okay.